Wolf, tonight we're learning that the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler is raising new questions about conversations between President Trump and former acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker. We reported back in December that Trump had vented to Whitaker about prosecutors in Manhattan going rogue over the Michael Cohen investigation into those hush money payments that were made just before the 2016 election. Matt Whitaker was very circumspect in his testimony, providing different answers when he testified originally on the Hill. And according to Chairman Jerry Nadler today, he changed his tune. Take a listen.
Unlike in the hearing room, Mr. Whitaker did not deny that the president called him to discuss the Michael Cohen case and personnel decisions in the Southern District. 2, while he was acting Attorney General, Mr. Whitaker was directly involved in conversations about whether to fire one or more U.S. attorneys. And 3, while he was acting Attorney General, Mr. Whitaker was involved in conversations about the scope of the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney Berman's recusal and whether the Southern District went too far in pursuing the campaign finance case in which the president was listed as individual number 1. Those are the 3 takeaways from today.
What do you mean that he did not deny the president's involved? What do you think he did not deny the president's involvement or president interacting with him about Eston?
Just what I said. He did not deny it, unlike in the hearing room.
So that means that he had conversations with the president about the Michael Cohen guilty?
He would not say no.
Now, the top Republican on the committee, Congressman Doug Collins, had a very different takeaway from the exact same closed-door session with Whitaker this afternoon. Take a listen to what he told Armando Raju just a short time ago.
Mr. Nadler said there were 3 takeaways. One, he said that that Whitaker did not deny that the president called him to discuss the Michael Cohen case and the personnel decisions in the Southern District.
I think that's an interpretation of what he said. And Mr. Whitaker said that he did not have conversations with the president about Cohen.
He said he said he did not deny it. He said he did not deny it.
Yeah, I mean, in this point, the understanding is from what we went through, what I just said, he had those conversations with it. If Mr. Nadler chooses to say by absence of what he didn't say, if that's what he's interpreting it, then Mr. Nadler will have to answer for that.
So clearly a fair amount of confusion, Wolf, on Capitol Hill about what exactly Whitaker said, what exactly he meant. We've got 2 different members of Congress, potentially 2 different stories from Whitaker. None of this apparently getting resolved, even though the whole point was for him to come to the Hill to get it resolved, especially after our story in December.
You remember the New York Times had reported that the president wanted to replace the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York who had recused himself from all of this. How significant potential, if that is true, how significant is that compared to what we heard today, at least according to the committee chairman?
Well, the question there was always why. Why did he want his guy, Jeffrey Berman, the U.S. attorney, to be back on the case instead of Robert Khuzami, the first assistant who, by all accounts, was perfectly capable and a great lawyer, and there's no reason that he couldn't oversee the case. And so the question was, why did he want to try to get Berman back on? We don't have any insight into that yet, but we do know, at least according to Chairman Nadler, that he did have discussions, Whitaker, I should say, did have discussions about potentially replacing U.S. attorneys and other personnel decisions. What we just don't know is who with and why.
Because, Kara, it's interesting that Jeffrey Berman, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District, he isn't completely recused from all Trump investigations, including, for example, the Trump inauguration.
That's right. I mean, in the inauguration, which that investigation just got underway late last year, and they sent that subpoena that we've all seen copies of to the inaugural committee asking for a range of documents. That subpoena was signed by Jeffrey Berman, so it's very clear he's not recused from that case. And as we've seen, some of the issues that have come up and perhaps why they're looking at the inauguration came out in some respect of the cooperation of Michael Cohen. So just because he recused from Michael Cohen's case with those campaign finance violations, it doesn't mean he's entirely recused from anything involving Michael Cohen. We also know that the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan is still investigating aspects of the Trump organization. They've said repeatedly in court that that's an ongoing investigation. Remains to be seen where that leads.
Yeah, Kara Scannell, Laura Jarrett, guys, great reporting as usual. Thank you.